Brownsville students, I am back again today to give you the next lesson here for 8th grade, and that is multiplying in scientific notation and dividing in scientific notation. We're going to begin with multiplication. You may want a calculator. If you don't have one, use one on your phone or use one on your computer apps here for this. So please follow along with the notes today and write them down so that you have examples as we go. Okay, so what we've got today, we're going to start with multiplication. I have a graphing calculator here, but really all you need is the basics on this one so that you can multiply and divide. Okay, so to start off with, remember, I want to talk about the fact that for something to be in scientific notation, the first number needs to be between 1 and 10, and then it's multiplied by 10 to a power of something else. So when we get our result here, it has to follow those same rules. And if it doesn't, there is a little rule which I've written on the bottom. If we are not between 1 and 10 and we have to move the decimal to the left, that means we're going to add 1 to our exponent. And if we have to move the decimal to our right, we're going to subtract 1 from the exponent. Okay? And so that's a piece of information you're going to want as we go. So, if we are multiplying, first of all, they're usually in sets of parentheses. There will be nothing in the middle, which indicates that we are going to multiply in scientific notations. So what we're going to do is we are going to follow these rules. We will first multiply our base numbers, and our base numbers are our first numbers, okay? And so if you don't know what it is off the top of your head, that's why you might want a calculator, okay? You just multiply on there. 1.2 times 3.6 equals 4.32. So we're going to start with that, 4.32. We get to keep our times 10 because those are the same base here and here. And in an earlier lesson, we talked about if the base is the same and you're multiplying, then you get to then add exponents. So we're going to add the 5 and the 8 to get 13. The last step now is to check to see, is that first number between 1 and less than 10? And the answer is yes, so this is our final answer. If the answer had been no, then we need to use the rules that we have written down here. Okay, let's try again. 5.1 times 10 to the negative 5 times 2.5 times 10 to the negative 4. Again, first step here is going to be to multiply your base number. So we're going to multiply 5.1 times 2.5. 5.1 times 2.5, and I'm sorry you can't see that on my calculator, but comes out to be 12.75. So we're going to write that down. Times 10, keep that base of 10, and we're going to now add these exponents, negative 5 plus negative 4. And again, if you have a calculator, you might want to double check this answer, but negative 5 plus negative 4 is negative 9. Okay, now we want to look back and say, is this above 1 but less than 10? And it is not. It is above 10, so we have to adjust it. So in order to get this between 1 and 10, we need to move this decimal back one spot so that it is 1.275 for my first one. That's between 1 and 10. Now, if you look down here, what that means is, oh, I went this direction, so I'm going to add 1 to my exponent. So times 10, negative 9 plus 1 equals negative 8, so that's my new exponent, and this is my answer in scientific notation. Okay, moving on then. So that's it for multiplication. Those are the rules there. And so dividing is going to be very similar in that we're going to use the rules that we learned that we talked about in an earlier video, okay? So up here we multiplied and added exponents. when we're dividing, we're going to divide bases and subtract exponents, okay? So our base numbers on the first one is 9.46 and 2.2. So you want to start probably in a calculator and do 9.46 divided by 2.2. And that comes out to be 4.3. So I'm going to write that down, 4.3. And we're going to keep our base of 10. And this is a fraction, which means division, but that really means 10 is multiplying by itself 9 times, and 10 is multiplying by itself 4 times. So we're really canceling. So we're going to subtract. 9 minus 4 is 5. Now we're going to use our double check method here. Are we between above 1 but less than 10, 4.3? And the answer is yes. We're all good. We don't have to apply this rule for that example. Okay, last but not least, we're going to divide again. Just a reminder that division a lot of times is going to be written as a fraction, okay? So up here with the multiply, it's written out the long way. When we're dividing, we write them as fractions. So we're going to start again. We're going to divide our base numbers. We're going to divide 1.71 divided by 3.8. And we get 0.45, okay? So this is what it looks like on my calculator, depending on what you've got. So I'm going to start with putting a 0 in here, 0.45, times 10. And again, we're in a fraction, so we're going to subtract those exponents. 5 minus 2 is going to give me 3. Okay, now we check. Is this above 1 but below 10? And the answer is no, this is too small. Now, if I move that decimal this way, it's not going to help me out because then I'm still below 1. But if I move it this way, okay, then I get 4.5 as my first base number here. And that's what I want because that is above 1 but below 10. And so since I moved it in this direction and it matches this, I'm going to subtract 1 from the exponent. So then it's going to be times 10 to the second power, and that is our final answer. Okay, a nice shorter lesson today. If anything was confusing, please make sure that you email me or email your math teacher today, and we will be sure to help you out. Hopefully you took the notes and you'll be able to do the questions at the end of the slideshow. Have a great day, and hopefully we'll talk to y'all soon.